Hello, everybody. Welcome to Barca News. It is May 1st, 2023, and it's reported that Barcelona are working on converting the former La Masia into a Lionel Messi dedicated museum. Also, it's reported that the club have joined the race for Celta Vigo's Gabri Veiga. And finally, Barcelona have been told to expect a 70 million euro offer for Ansu Fati come this summer. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Mo, and as always, these live streams are scheduled for Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thanks to all of you who have joined. Thanks to all of you who are already in the chat. Thanks to all of you who will be watching this live stream when it ends. Again, make sure you hit that like button and also to subscribe to the channel. It goes a long, long way in helping this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jersey or gear, make sure you hit the Get Bag. They have the biggest selection of not just Barcelona gear, but also of gear from all the teams from all the biggest leagues around the world. So make sure to check them out. The link is down below in the description. And finally, I know I started doing the post-match live streams in order to analyze the matches. Tomorrow there is a match against Osasuna, but unfortunately it is on a Tuesday and I will be working at my office. So I won't be able to do the post-match live stream tomorrow, but I will bring you in the news video at night once I come back home from work. And of course, I will do a post-match live analysis the weekend once we play against Espanyol. Now, speaking of tomorrow's match, again, Barcelona are set to face off against Osasuna. Barcelona have announced a squad of list of players that they have called up. It's all the players who are available except for Sergio Roberto, who's still injured. And Barcelona have once again called up La Masia's crown jewel, Lamine Yamal. Now, Lamine Yamal debuted for the first time against Real Betis last match. He became the youngest player in the history of Barcelona to debut with the first team. He became the youngest player in the history of La Liga to debut during the 21st century. And even though he played for 10 minutes, he had the really good 10 minutes. He was dribbling past defenders. We saw him almost score a goal. He gave two great passes that almost ended up being assists. Lots of brilliant touches, a lot of skill from this young man, and he's been called up once again. So hopefully Barcelona can win the match tomorrow or score goals early, then hopefully we could see Xavi give Lamine Yamal more minutes, because I definitely want to see more from this guy with the first team. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, internal reports are saying, or reporters close to Barcelona are saying, that the negotiations with Lamine Yamal have been finalized. Both parties have agreed to extend their relationship together, and that Lamine Yamal will be signing his first professional contract with Barcelona come this summer. He will sign a contract until 2026 with a 500 million euro release clause. Of course, he can't sign it until he turns 16 this summer, but it is reported that everything's finalized and he will be signing that contract 100% for sure. Now, all of Europe has been buzzing about Lamine Yamal ever since his debut against Real Betis, and of course, deservedly so. So hopefully, again, we'll see him play in tomorrow's match against Osasuna. Now, we saw Dembele play the final 20 minutes against Real Betis, so we'll see whether he's going to start in tomorrow's match or whether Xavi is going to bring him during the second half. Again, we're going to have to wait to see tomorrow. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the chat, what do you think the lineup is going to be for tomorrow's match? Which, by the way, if Barcelona do win it and Real Madrid lose their match, which they are scheduled to play against Real Sociedad at Anoeta, which is a very difficult stadium for any team that goes there. So if Real Madrid lose their match, Barcelona wins theirs, then Barcelona could wrap up La Liga title this weekend against Espanyol, Barcelona's bitter rival. And at the Espanyol Stadium, I think it'll be a very special occasion if Barcelona can not only win La Liga, but do it in the stadium of one of their bitter rivals. And then also they would be most likely dooming Espanyol to relegation. So we'll have to see and wait and see what happens. Hopefully Barcelona can get those three important points tomorrow, and hopefully we can see Real Madrid lose their match. Now let's head to the chat section. We'll do a few comments, and then we'll get back to the news, because there is news that Barcelona want to build a Lionel Messi museum. All right, let's see. Benchwarmer says hello. What's up, Benchwarmers? What's up, Choo Choo? Almost missed this. I'm glad you're here. Michael says, who would you like to see come to Barcelona in the summer? I mean, if money wasn't a problem, I would love to see Vitor Roque come for the center forward position. I would love to see someone like Florian Wirtz for the wing. I would love to see someone like Amrabat for the pivot position. Maybe someone like Bernardo Silva for the interior position. For the right back, I'm a little split on this. I think I know Xabi likes Foyt. I'm not too sold on him. I think someone like Joao Cancelo or Pavard would be a better fit. But that's pretty much the kind of the players I would love to see at Barca. Again, would this happen? Of course not. It's impossible with the financial situation. But it's free to dream. And then Sammy says, who are we signing for the left wing? Okay, for the left wing, no news yet, but Barcelona supposedly are looking, so we'll see. But I do have some news about left wing, not necessarily about who will be signed, but definitely about who could be leaving. So let's get back to the news. We'll do another segment, then we'll head back to the chat. The next news is that Barcelona are thinking about building a museum for Lionel Messi and converting the old La Masia building into that museum. As you know, Barcelona are working right now to try to bring Lionel Messi back. They want to give him his well-deserved goodbye that he didn't get when he left. That also bringing Lionel Messi back would be its own economic lever. It's estimated by economists that if Messi comes back to Barcelona, he would generate about 1/3 of Barcelona's revenues. That's huge. That would be a huge economic boost to the club because when you sign Messi, you're not only getting the best player in the world, you're also getting all the sponsorships, all the merchandise sale, or the ticketing sale, all the media rights, and that brings you a lot of money. I think PSG were able to add something like 40 or 46 sponsors when they signed Messi. I mean, it's just insane how much money does this guy generate. And in fact, when PSG signed Messi, they pretty much made in his jersey sales what they paid him over the 2 years in salary. And I think like 2 weeks of jersey sales, they had already made their money back as far as Messi's salary. So everything else was pure profit. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So Barcelona are working on this. Of course, they presented their feasibility plan to La Liga, which has to be approved. If approved, Barcelona would be able to sign Messi and several other players. But of course, they would have to commit to doing 100 million euros worth of player sale this summer, cutting the salaries of the biggest earners, doing budget cuts all across the club, not just the football team. They're already closed Barca TV. Now the team are taking trains to matches instead of the plane. Just budget cuts all across in order to bring back the club to like financials, to a more financial healthy route, if you may. And in exchange, La Liga would be willing to give Barcelona more leeway to sign players. It would also give them more time to reduce their wage bill by 200 million euros because Barcelona have realized it's impossible to do it by the summer, like Javier Tebas has asked. So again, if this feasibility plan will be approved, Barcelona would have more time to sign players. Now, Barcelona are working on figuring out how they can pay Messi's salary. Of course, they can't afford Messi's salary. And one way that they're thinking about doing this is building the Lionel Messi Museum. Now, this museum would take place in the old La Masia building. The old La Masia building is right next to the Camp Nou. It's pretty much falling apart, not being used by the by the club because the new La Masia moved to and the Johan Cruyff Stadium, which is where the Barca Athletic play, also where the Barca family play. I got the privilege of visiting it in March. Really cool stadium. I got to see La Masia building. Really awesome experience. But anyways, the Messi Museum would be an interactive museum. It would be built, or it would be built pretty much where the old La Masia building was, which is right next to the Camp Nou. And what this would do, not only would it generate more money for the club, for Barcelona, it would increase the revenues, but also Barcelona are thinking about giving some of the share of the profits to Messi. That way they can compensate for his salary because, again, Barcelona cannot afford his salary. So this would be one way to pay Lionel Messi, and also would be a great way for the club to generate money by building this Messi Museum. Now, the people who are working on this are also thinking about launching a business partnership with Messi. The Barcelona brand is huge all around the world. The Messi brand is huge around the world. And when you put them together, what you get is a juggernaut of a brand. And that's what Barcelona are thinking. Maybe a clothing line together, some kind of products or merchandise that would be a Barca Messi kind of partnership between the two, which again, not only would it help the club increase their revenues, but it would also help them, give a portion of this to Messi, which then again would compensate for his salary because again, Barcelona cannot afford to pay his salary. So these are some of the few ideas that the club are floating to see how they can pay Messi so they can bring him back. But again, all this will heavily depend on whether La Liga will approve that feasibility plan. And not only does it have to be approved by La Liga, it also has to be approved by a majority of all the clubs in the Spanish league. So, of course, we are going to have to wait and see if that gets approved. Barcelona are feeling optimistic. They're expecting an answer at the beginning of this month. We'll see it. This doesn't mean that it will be approved. They are feeling optimistic, however. Now, the feasibility plan is also very, very important and a priority for Barcelona, not just because it would allow them to sign Messi, but because it would allow them to to register the contracts of Araujo, Gavi, Sergio Roberto, Marcos Alonso, and of course, to finalize the contract renewal of Balde. So the feasibility plan is very, very important for Barcelona, not just for Messi's sake. Now let's head to the comment section and then we'll talk about the new Spanish gem, Gabri Veiga, and Barcelona's interest in him. All right, where did we leave off? Neighbor Boy USA says, I would have loved Ansu to succeed at Barca, but being on bench every time will not help him again gain his form. He should just go. I agree. There is news about Ansu, so I won't touch on it too much because there is news about Ansu in this live stream, so I'll wait to address that. Aircraft says Messi should run for president of the club. I don't know about that. I mean, for now, he's still playing. If we can benefit from his skills on the field, let's do it. President, I don't know if he'd be a good president or not. Just because you're a great player, doesn't mean you'll necessarily be a great leader in the office. We see that a lot with players becoming coaches and then they absolutely fail because, just because you're great at one thing doesn't mean you're another. But who knows? I mean, he might be. Chuchu says, Balde, best left back in the world, Mo. I don't know if he's best yet. Definitely top 3 in the world. I mean, he's up there with Davis. Can't think right now, but definitely top 3. I don't know if best yet. I definitely think he will be. I mean, remember, he's 18. Players continue to grow and develop until they're 22, 23. So if he's already top 3 at 18 or 19 years old, can you imagine when he actually reaches his peak? Oh, my God. I mean, this guy will definitely be the best left back, no doubt, in the world. I don't think he's there yet, but he's very, very close, and I have no doubt that he'll get there. All right, let's get back to Gabri Veiga. If you haven't heard about this guy, he's an absolute monster in the midfield. He plays for Celta Vigo. He came up through their academy. He's 20 years old. He's an attacking midfielder. He's an absolute monster on the field. If you haven't heard of him, I highly recommend YouTube Gabri Veiga. He is an absolute monster. Everybody in the world wants him right now. Real Madrid, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United. They're all fighting for him. They're all want him. He's one of the hottest things to come out of Spanish football. And the latest report is that if Barcelona cannot sign Lionel Messi, that they will go after Gabri Veiga. Now, and they're saying this because Joan Laporta is a big fan of him. I personally don't believe these reports, and the reason I say that is it's actually for 2 reasons. Number one is because Gabri Veiga has a 40 million euro release clause, which there's no way Barcelona can afford that. Right now, Barcelona are focusing on free transfers, and that includes Messi, Ilkay Gundogan, Iñigo Martinez. That's their top priority right now because they can't afford to pay transfer fees. I mean, even the Vitor Roque operations on hold because Barcelona cannot pay the 45, 50 million that Atletico Paranaense will. So I have my doubts that Barcelona are after Gabri Veiga. I mean, are they interested? I'm sure they are. Who wouldn't be? He's one of the hottest things right now. Is Joan Laporta a big fan? Sure. He's also a big fan of Joao Felix. That doesn't mean he's going to come. And also they're saying that supposedly Barcelona are after him because Pini Xavi is his agent. Pini Xavi is also the agent of Lewandowski. He made that happen. He's the agent of Yannick Carrasco, and he helped with the whole offloading Memphis Depay and negotiating that clause that would allow Barcelona to sign Yannick Carrasco in the summer. He's also really good friends of Jean Laporta because they had businesses together in Israel several years ago. So they're saying because of that, Barcelona are in a race for him. Again, I highly doubt it just because of his release clause. I don't think Barcelona are seriously in the race. I mean, would they love to have him? Of course, who wouldn't? But I just don't think it's possible. Let's get back to the comment section or the chat, and then we'll talk about Ansu Fati because there is news about a possible 70 million euro offer for Ansu come this summer. Chuchu says never heard of Gabri Veiga. It's Gabi. It's Ga. Oh no, it is Gabri. Sorry, it's Veiga. It's spelled Veiga. Definitely look him up. Again, he's a monster. He this is his first. I think it's his first season. He's already scored 9 goals and provided 4 assists as a midfielder. Very impressive. Very impressive attacking mid. Tatu says, Mo, how you think Barcelona will be able to register all contracts that they haven't registered yet and also sign Messi, Inigo, Gundogan, or even Vitor as well? Again, that's what the feasibility plan is about. Feasibility plan, if approved, and Barcelona, then La Liga would agree to give Barcelona enough margin to register all those contracts and to sign Gundogan, Messi, and Inigo Martinez. They're saying actually that Barcelona will be able to sign 4 players. So if you are including Messi, Inigo, Ilkay, that means Barcelona could sign someone else. I'm guessing it probably would be someone for the right back position because Barcelona are now consider that that's a top priority because they've noticed that there's a huge weakness on the right on the right side. All right, Abbas says, who will win the Pichichi? I think Lewandowski will. I don't know. That's my feeling. I know Benzema just scored a hat trick and all of a sudden, he's scoring again. But I think Lewandowski will. Lewandowski is more consistent than Benzema. People, just because he won the Ballon d'Or, people are talking about Benzema being the best 9. It took Benzema 34 years to have one good season. And Madridista all of a sudden want to talk about Benzema being the greatest number 9. 34 years. This guy hasn't done anything. He's been mediocre at best. He has one good season. All of a sudden, all the Madridistas are saying that he's the best. Lewandowski has been consistent for the past, 10, 12 years, every season scoring 40, 50, 60 goals every season. And then Benzema, one good season, all of a sudden he's the best. Man, I got to tell you, sometimes I wonder, how do Madridistas even remember to breathe? Let's see. Ooh, where did we leave off? Pancho says, Gabri kind of reminds me of Frankie when he does that quick change of pace while going forward. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely reminds me of Frankie as far as breaking lines. But I think he's a little bit more talented than Frankie with his dribbling. But not to say that Frankie's bad because Frankie's been amazing this season. I wanted him to be offloaded this past summer because I think Frankie was, for the past 3-4 seasons, he hadn't really impressed or lived up to the hype since he arrived from Ajax. But I think Xavi somehow found a way to bring out the best of Frankie, and Frankie this season has been absolutely phenomenal. Let's see. Where else? The 8. Would you offload Ansu, Ferran? I think you meant Rafinha, because we don't have a player named Rap Bins for Leao. Those 3 for Leao. Leao is not happening. Even if you offload those 3, it's impossible. Leao has a market value of 80 million euros. It just would be impossible. You need to offload those 3 players just so you can register the contracts that we have and make the few signings that the club have already agreed to, like Gundogan and Inigo. You would need to offload half the squad to be able to afford Leao. Would I love to see him in Barcelona? Of course. That guy's a freaking beast. But is it financially possible? No. You would have to sell Pedri, Gavi, Frankie just to bring Leao in, which, again, would not obviously be smart to sacrifice your whole, half your squad just to bring one guy. Sammy says we should sell Kessie to raise some funds. Kessie's definitely on the list. Barcelona think they can get a good 30 to 35 million euros for him. He did arrive for free, so those 30 to 35 would be 100% profit. It would go to the computation of the 100 million euros that Barcelona need to generate in sales, because again, this 100 million euros is net sales, not total sales. So if you buy a player for, let's say, 50 million euros, you sell him for 60, you didn't just net 60, you netted 10 million because you paid 50 for him. So Kessie selling him would be pure profit. It would go towards, the whole thing would go towards the computation of the 100 million euros that Barcelona would need to generate in player sales as part of the feasibility plan if approved by La Liga. All right. The 8 says they'll then have Dembele, Abde, and Leao as wingers. Again, you can, even if you sell those three, Rafinha, Ferran, and Ansu, you can't afford Leao. You probably would have to sell Dembele and Abde. So you would be left with no wingers except Leao. Let's see. All right. If Gundogan comes, Kessie has to go. Yeah. I think if I had to choose between them, I would obviously prefer Gundogan. Not because Kessie's a bad player. I love Kessie. I think he's a phenomenal midfielder, but he's just not. He doesn't fit in a Barcelona scheme. Again, that doesn't mean he's bad. I mean, Ibrahimovic came to Barcelona and that didn't work out. Not because Ibrahimovic was a bad player. It's because he simply did not fit in the Barcelona style of play. And I think that's the case with Kessie. I like him a lot as a player. I think he's a phenomenal player. I loved watching him with AC Milan, what he did with AC Milan and his last season, how they won the Serie A. But I think he just doesn't fit in Xabi's scheme. So I think, yeah, if I had to choose between him and Gundogan, I would obviously prefer Gundogan just because Gundogan is more of a Barcelona profile. Anyways, let's talk about Ansu since we were just talking about wingers. It's reported that Ansu Fati's agent, Jorge Mendes, has told Barcelona that they could expect a 70 million euro offer from a Premier League club this summer. Now, it doesn't say which club. It's just someone from the Premier League that they're willing to offer 70 million euros for Barcelona for Ansu Fati. Now, as far as Ansu Fati, he has said that he wants to stay in Barcelona. Xabi and Laporta have said that they want to keep Ansu Fati in Barcelona. But I think personally, my personal opinion is that behind the scenes, if Barcelona were to receive that offer, I don't think they would think about it twice. And they would definitely offload Ansu for 70 million. Because again, Ansu came up through La Masia. So those 70 million euros would be 100% profit. And it would go directly to, it would compute directly towards the 100 million euros that they need to generate this summer as part of this part of the feasibility plan. So you saw Ansu, you get 70 million right there. You're 70% done. You just need to generate 30 million more. You sell Kessie, right there you have your 100 million euros. You just lived up to what the feasibility plan requires you to do. So I have no doubt that if an offer comes 70 million euros from the Premier League, that Barcelona would accept it. I have no doubt that there's plenty of clubs in Premier League who are willing to pay 70 million euros. You know, I've seen what the Premier League clubs are doing these past few transfer markets. They're completely overpaying for players. They're just dropping money left and right. So I have no doubt that they could be clubs that would be willing to pay that. Now, do I think this report is true? I really, really have my doubts. And the reason why I say this is because this is coming from Jorge Mendes, Ansu Fati's agent. And Jorge Mendes is notoriously known for doing these things. When this guy wants to get a player renewed or get a player a new contract or get a player a new club, he's very, very good about hyping up the media, leaking reports to the media left and right, generating fake buzz around a player just to either drive his price up or put pressure on his current club or whatever his goal is. He's very good about using media outlets to to play his game and then generate whatever goal he wants to generate through the media. Jorge Mendes is very, very good at that. So I'm not saying this report is fake. I just wouldn't trust it 100% because, again, it's coming from Jorge Mendes. Again, I have no doubts that the Premier League clubs will be willing to pay that. I have no doubts that Barcelona will be willing to accept it. But I just don't think that this report is 100% reliable because, again, it's coming from Jorge Mendes, who's notoriously for doing this. Let's get back to the chat section. We'll continue this, and then we'll have one more bit of news, and we'll wrap it up. But I see there's 49 of us watching, only 17 likes. Let's hit that like button, guys. Let's blow it up and make sure it's 49 people watching and 49 likes. All right, where did we leave off? Wow, it looks like Nima joined. Nima's in the house. He joined the chat. Nima says Gundogan generally superior to Casino. Yeah, he is. As far as the Barcelona scheme, right? Let's see what else. Pancho says, "Them honestly would be amazing to get a player like Leao. Sucks how the financial state is. It absolutely does. But you have Bartomeu, his board of directors, and even the president before him, Sandro Rosé, to thank for that." The 8 says, "How come La Liga has this cap back in Coutinho, Griezmann, Dembele days? How come it was allowed to sign all these expensive players? Did something change?" Nothing changed, but I think there was something, and obviously this is not proven, but I honestly think that there was some kind of scheme between La Liga and Bartomeu and his board of directors, because like you just said, when they signed Griezmann, Dembele, Coutinho, they spent like something like over 400 million euros on just these players. And this is not just 400 million euros just in transfer fees. We're not even talking about the ridiculous salaries that they got, salaries that were twice as much what the market value was. And then not just the salaries, and there's also the bonuses for the players, the bonuses for the family, the bonuses for the agents. I mean, and this is just not just Griezmann, Coutinho, and Dembele. We're talking about all the players that Bartomeu renewed, like Busquets, like Frankie, like Ter Stegen, Jordi Alba, Piqué, all these players who got renewed and got these ridiculous contracts, huge salaries, way above to what they were worth, huge bonuses for them, for their agents. I mean, this guy was spending money left and right, and La Liga was nowhere to be found to say, "Hey, what are you guys are doing? Why are you spending? Like, you're reaching the cap. You're spending more than what you bringing in." La Liga was nowhere to be found. Now all of a sudden, Laporta, who's spending very cautiously, only signing free transfer agent players, all of a sudden La Liga is, "Oh my God, let's make sure they don't overspend." Like, they should have been there when Bartomeu was the president. But I really think there was either something in between them, between Bartomeu and Tebas behind the scenes, or simply Tebas was like, "All right, this is perfect. I'm watching, my most hated club ruin itself from within, so I'm just gonna let them do it." All right, let's see. I'll do one more, and then we'll do the last section news, and then we'll do like a good 5-10 minutes of just the chat section, just because I really want to wrap up the last bit of news, just for those who are going to be watching later. I don't want to make it too long. I don't want people to get bored and then miss out on the news. Let's see, where did we leave off? Bum, 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 bum. Hadith says, "Recently I have doubts about Barcelona financials." What kind of doubts? What do you mean? CA says, "What do you think of the rumor mill saying Newcastle would pay 90 for Rafinha?" I haven't heard 90. I've heard 60 for Rafinha. I mean, it's not confirmed, but do I doubt it? No. Newcastle just, they just got bought by a Saudi investment fund. They have officially become the richest club in the world. They have unlimited resources. They're looking to build a very competitive team. So they're willing to drop money left and right on whatever players they want, pretty much like another PSG who's just looking to buy the most expensive players and hope that works. We've seen it over and over again that doesn't work. But I guess these Gulf states just don't get it. That you can't just spend money and expect to win championships. It takes more than that. But I wouldn't doubt it that they would be willing to pay that. Now, Rafinha is not for sale. Xabi wants to keep him on the squad. But I think if Barcelona would to receive a 90 million offer, I think they would definitely consider it, because again, he's not for sale, but he's also not an untouchable. Like, he's not Gabi, he's not Pedri, he's not Araujo, right? And I think if Barcelona were to receive an offer like that, they would definitely consider it. Anyway, let's wrap up the last bit of news, and then we'll do a good 5-10 minutes of just the chat section. But the last bit of news is that today the Barcelona family officially know who will be their opponent in the final of the Women's Champions League, and it will be the German side, Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg played their second leg of the semifinal of the Women's Champions League today against Arsenal. Arsenal came in, they were down 2-0 in the aggregate. Great match. They ended up drawing 4-4 in the aggregate, ended up going to extra time. It seemed like it was going to be defined by penalties, but Wolfsburg scored one goal with 2 minutes left. Great match. So the aggregate ended up being 5-4 with Wolfsburg qualifying to the final of the Women's Champions League, which will be played on June 3rd. This is the third Champions League final that Barcelona in a row that Barcelona are making it to. And if they win it, it will be their third Champions League title in 5 years, which is absolutely amazing. Now, Barca Femini have played against Wolfsburg before. They met in the semifinals of last season. They beat them 5-1 at the Spotify Camp Nou, but then Wolfsburg won 2-0 in the in Germany. So it's a total aggregate of 5-3 in the favor of Barca Femini, who made it to the final, but unfortunately they lost. So hopefully this year, the Barcelona Femini can win their third Champions League title in 5 years. As I reported in yesterday's video, they just got crowned La Liga champions with 6 matches left. They are having a perfect season, having won 26 out of 26 matches so far. Great numbers. Alexia Putellas is our captain. The best player in the world is back. She played in yesterday's match when Barca Femini were crowned champions, and she will have 4 more matches to play to get ready, to get back into competitive rhythm. She can play that final, and hopefully we see our ladies lift the Champions League trophy, since our men's squad cannot even lift the freaking Copa del Rey. All right, so that's it for the news. Let's do some comments from the chat, and then we will wrap it up. All right, where did we leave off? Tatu says, Mo, how did you become a Barca fan? I remember when I was in elementary school in first grade, my mom bought me FC Barcelona pencil case. I didn't that time watch football at all. I knew it was Messi. I became a Barcelona fan because when I was a kid, I grew up with the 2002 World Cup winning Brazilian squad, the Jogo Bonito squad, probably the best team, international squad to ever be assembled in history, with people like Ronaldinho, Ronaldo Nazario, Roberto Carlos, Cafu, Rivaldo. I mean, talk about one of the most beautiful teams to watch playing football. I was absolutely in love with that Brazilian squad. I was heartbroken when they lost the 98 World Cup. The 2002 World Cup, I watched it. It was amazing World Cup, just the way they played. So because I was such a big fan of that Brazilian squad, I became a big fan of Ronaldinho Gaucho, who to me, in my opinion, could have been the best player in history. But unfortunately, he liked to drink, he liked to party, and he missed his chance. To be the great, you need discipline. And unfortunately, Ronaldinho lacked that. But I became a big fan of Ronaldinho Gaucho. So when he signed for Barcelona, as a little kid, I became a big fan of Barcelona just because of him, really. And then, when he left, I was sad. But then we got Messi, and then now it's just, I'm just a Barcelona fan through and through. So no matter who comes or goes, I'm always going to be a Barcelona fan. But Ronaldinho Gaucho is the one who got me watching Barcelona. Okay. Nima says, I believe if there was no COVID, Bartomeu could have still been in Barca. I don't think so, because it was catching up to him. I mean, COVID made it worse, where Barcelona lost money more and got more in debt, but the storm was already brewing. Like, what he was doing is what really ruined the club, not COVID. He likes to use COVID as an excuse and say Barcelona are in a financial situation because of COVID, but that's absolute BS. Chuchu says FDJ is a talented player. Veiga isn't better. I just watched him now. I guess the question is, what are you doing watching videos during the live stream, Chuchu? Come on, man. Abbas says, Mo, why do you always cut your name short? Your name is one of the most beautiful names. Muhammad, the message of Allah to have it. Yeah, I agree. I just say Mo because it's just easier for people to pronounce. That's why. And plus, most of my friends call me Mo, so that's why I go by it. Okay, let's see. Michael says, will Messi be number 10 again if he comes? Supposedly, Ansu Fati will be willing to give up the 10. That's assuming if Ansu Fati is still at the club when Messi comes, but supposedly, yes. But knowing Messi, he would probably not want to take it unless Ansu Fati, volunteers it. Because we saw it with Neymar, everybody was talking about Neymar should give Messi the 10, and he said, no. The 10 is his, I'll take the 30. Because that's what the kind of guy Messi is. He just cares about playing. He doesn't care, about egos and what jersey he's wearing. He's no CR7 who has to have the number 7. Let's see. One more comment. Okay, Feru says, should Barcelona sell or keep Fati? Depends. If they only get like 35, 40 million euros for him, I think they should loan him. I still have like deep inside, I still have hopes for Fati that he could recover his form. But if they get a big offer, I think they should sell him. Just because the difficult financial situation of the club, I think you cannot say no to an offer, to a big offer for a player that A, you didn't spend any money on because he came up through the Masia, and B, who's simply not performing whatsoever. I mean, my God, Fati, when he's on the field, he's just a ghost. You forget he's there. So I think to say no to a big offer when you have someone who's just ghosting the whole time, I think is just something that Barcelona cannot pass up. Now, if Barcelona were economically healthy and everything's great and awesome, then I would say maybe give them a season, a loan them out a season and see what happens. And then if it doesn't work out, sell them. But just because of the difficult financial situation, I definitely would sell them. All right, last comment, guys, and we'll wrap it up. Let's see. Abbas asks, when did they win the first and second Champions League titles? Barca Femini won so last year they lost the final, the one before it they won, and the one before they won. I can't think of the years, but yeah. Chuchu says, sorry, Mo, was using my laptop to watch Veiga. Unforgivable. Unacceptable. All right. All right. I think that's it, guys. Zizo says, if we can't get a right back to play that Trent, Dani Alves role, I genuinely believe that Busquets out and a system change with the three. You're saying they should change the system to 3 center backs and then have. The problem is with the Barcelona style of play, they heavily rely on their fullbacks to come up and send crosses into the box. So I don't know if a line of 3 center backs would work, just because Barcelona are heavily relying on their fullbacks. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your comments in the chat. As always, you guys are freaking amazing. The best Barca community on YouTube, no doubt, except for Chuchu, who likes to watch videos while the live stream's going. I'm kidding. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Again, no post-match live stream because I will be working at the office. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do it, but I'll do the news video once I get home. Again, thank you, guys. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. And then, as always, Visca Barça.